Hello everyone, my name is Sabhahit, and today I would like to talk about superadiabatic mixing in the envelopes of massive stars and how it could potentially result in a metallicity independent theoretical Humphreys-Davidson limit. So what is this limit? In 1979, Humphreys and Davidson found an empirical luminosity cutoff for the coolest supergiants in the Milky Way and the LMC at about log L of 5.8. And this is generally believed to be an effect of mass laws wherein the HT limit shifts to higher values at lower metallicities. But as we'll see in the next slide, this empirical limit has been revised to lower luminosities. The HT limit essentially sets a soft boundary separating different evolutionary channels of massive stars. Below which stars evolve as red supergiants, and above which stars evolve blue words in the HR diagram. And the exact location of the HT limit as a function of metallicity is basically related to the temperature distribution of these coolest supergiants, which in turn helps us better understand and constrain the mixing conditions inside the star. Now we look at some of the current empirical limits that we have in different galaxies. In 2018, Davis et al. Found a lower cutoff in the Magellanic Clouds at about 5.5. There's more discussion about this in a talk by Aaron Higgins. And in 2020, the limit in the galaxy was also down revised to 5.5, thus suggesting metallicity independent empirical HT limit. Now we'll look at the theoretical HT limit predicted by stellar evolution models. 1D models of stars that are close to their Eddington limit while also maintaining hydrostatic equilibrium predict effects of inflation, where you have a very large, very low density envelope stretched out to large radii. Moreover, red supergiants have access to cooler opacity bumps at about 10 power 4 Kelvin, which further aggravates the problem of having super Eddington layers inside the star. So the outermost layers essentially readjust to lower the opacity, thus lowering the Eddington factor. However, 3D models of stellar envelopes suggest the suppression of inflation, and whether stars really inflate or not is still an unsolved problem. So we explore the alternative way of solving the problem of super Eddington layers, and that is to have excess envelope mixing by lowering the contribution of the radiative luminosity to the total luminosity. This is where the concept of superadiabaticity comes into picture, which is a measure of efficiency of convection. Higher the value of superadiabaticity, lower is the efficiency of convection. And it is these inflated regions, these regions where we have radiation dominance and inefficient convection. So we systematically study the effects of having excess envelope mixing in stars that are close to their Eddington limit, especially in these regions, instead of allowing them to inflate. So we run a grid of MESA models at 2 different overshooting mixing above the convective core and at 3 different metallicities. And all these models have excess mixing in their envelopes. And we find that for models with higher overshooting above the core, we essentially get a metallicity independent theoretical HT limit of about 5.5, which agrees well with the empirical results that we have at these 3 metallicities. So what's exactly causing the metallicity independent trend of the HT limit? That's to do with the excess mixing in the envelope as a function of metallicity. The plot we see here is the distribution of superadiabaticity inside the star for 3 different metallicities. In the outermost layers, the superadiabaticity depends on the strength of the hydrogen helium bump, which against intuition is stronger at lower metallicity. So any mixing mechanism that's implemented to deal with superadiabatic mixing would do so as a function of metallicity. So as Z increases, the excess envelope mixing required to keep the star sub-Eddington reduces. So combined with the direct effect of line-driven mass loss, which increases with metallicity, we get a metallicity independent HT limit. So I'm going to leave you guys with the conclusion slide. The main takeaway point is we have counterbalancing effect of envelope mixing and mass loss, which helps set a metallicity independent RSG limit. And we also get very similar empirical matching with empirical results. Thank you.